Hello guys, good day. This is Anne of Reinforcement Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today I'm going to share to you the 4 no-brainer ways to finish your assignments quickly in your own pace because people are different. Now, this is 2025. It's one of the easiest times to find resources or even outsource your assignments, projects, and whatsoever. Basically, the number one thing you can do to finish fast is to use technology. Way back before when I was younger, though, we don't have this so called AI. We can do copy paste and no one will ever react about it, and no one ever knows how we ever get to that kind of statement that we have in our assignment. But this time it's even harder. But you can always find a way because technology this time is fantastic. Use technology. You can even brainstorm with AI. We have Chat GPT up to 4.0 version. Not necessarily that you have to copy the entire Chat GPT answers, but it's all up to you. You can even revise that, use any chatbots or anything to revise your answers, and that's it. But if you want to learn, you want to get something out of it, you simply brainstorm with AI and dig into, different resources which can actually help you expand your knowledge about the topic, about your assignment, which is fair enough. So simply take advantage of the technology we have today. Unlike before, in my time, yes, we did some copy paste, and so far we did copy paste in a way, but in a way that, just for the sake of it, to finish the assignment. But make sure that if you copy paste, you're not going to get caught because we have, your assignments will be checked by AI. This time it's much high tech. So you got to be pretty much careful. But you can always take advantage, utilize the power of technology this time. The next thing you can do, this is some sort of a DIY. It could be no brainer, but still DIY. This is one of the best way for you to do is, if you want to hang out with your crush or you want to hang out with your classmates, you want to get in touch with them. The second way that you can do is to message your besties, your classmates, bestie in the class, or message those nerds in the class. You might want to drop in a direct message to them, DM them about what do you think about this topic in our assignment. And then you could even ask them, what are your thoughts? You could even ask them about resources. And besides, you're not going to copy their work word for word. That is why, as a student, it's important to really have less enemy. I'm not saying that you've no enemy because we can't please everybody. But make sure you establish a good trust and rapport to those best students. Nerds. Help them so they can help you out. All right, you know what I mean? Don't be a bully. Always be useful in the class. Always be useful, especially to those people whom you can use in times of trouble when you're in trouble. But not necessarily, I'm not saying that you have to take advantage of the people, but what I'm saying is you have to be useful yourself. Be a good person in the class. Not you don't have to be the brightest person, the brightest student. Just be a good person and you can tap into anybody to help you. But make sure you have to be helpful to yourself, to anybody. So DM those nerds in your class, those smart or bright people. Even you can DM your crush. That's another way for you to get in touch, to connect. So DM them about your topic, establish rapport, and they might want to share you some thoughts. It's even one way for you to hang out with them, to ask them out. Well, how about that? Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect because we always have an excuse to our parents. even to some of our, so that we have a ticket to go out, for a while, to get involved with this so-called group study. Dad, I'm going out tonight. I'll be back later. We don't know what time is later. I'll be back later, Dad. We're going to have a group study with my classmates. We have a project as a group. So that could be an excuse, though, but it's one way to utilize that opportunity to get in touch with other people other than technology. So P2P, person to person. All right? Brainstorming. Brainstorming person to person, or brainstorm with AI. The third thing you can do, I'm not sure if this could be applicable to anyone. I call this as Operation Call, quote unquote, call a friend. Call a friend because, now this is something dark. You call your friend to make your assignment. This could be dangerous, but if for life and death, life and death subject, but it's just, there are some, something happening to you a day before the deadline that you cannot finish your assignment, call a friend. Call a friend to finish it for you. Call a friend to help you out with it. And make a deal that, you're gonna give back something. It could be a reward or anything. You make a deal with your friend. So, Operation Call a Friend because you can't make your own assignment. So, and also you have to accept the downside of this. What if your bestie, his answer is wrong? So that's the downside. You might gonna have the same answer, which make no sense. There's no sense at all. If whatever would be his mistake will be your mistake. So you have to be, that's still part of the game. You got to be accountable to that. You called the wrong bestie. It was, just in case if you want to do this, make sure that you call the right person. The person who's not gonna throw you under the table, who's not gonna speak up about it. Now, warning. This could be dangerous. But it's easier, if this is math problem. And you have no idea about math. You don't like it. You're not born with it. But there are some math problems wherein you can solve it in different ways. So that's just the downside. Whatever will be the mistake of your friend who made your assignment will be your mistake. Plus, you're not going to learn anything. Lastly, number 4 is, this is another form of call a friend for emergency. And what is the emergency concern? Your concern would be you have no assignment. So, you call your friend because you choose happiness a day before the deadline. So, you text your friend, I'm not going to make my assignment today because I choose happiness. I'm in the party, I cannot leave, or you be doing something else rather than your assignment. Call a friend for emergency. The emergency is you didn't do your assignment. The first thing, the very basic thing that you have to do to keep in mind when you do this is that you have to go to school early. Go to school early, and whoever classmates that you have there, you brainstorm with them and do your assignment fast. And accept the responsibility of the downside of it, that your answer could be wrong because you brainstorm with the wrong person. You are cramming. Just in case if you have no idea about the topic. You could be wrong. Or, you accidentally copy your classmate's assignment and it turned out that you're teacher caught us, caught both of you, and you're both grounded. You're just, there's some innocent people who's willing enough to to face life with you. But make sure if you ever do this, do not copy your classmate's assignment word for word, unless if it's identification, that is the easiest part. Math, okay, that could be reasonable that you have the same solution. So you can always justify that. But if it's essay, how in the world that you have the same word for word thoughts? You could be caught. So beware, be careful. And if you ever do this, make sure it's identification. It could be math problems. Or, do not copy your classmate's assignment word for word, verbatim. Now, I've said to you, I've shared to you the good ways and the bad ways. Well, I would share this to you though. When you help each other out, like group study, brainstorming, it's called cooperation. But some people would say it is cheating. But business-wise, that is cooperation. The advantages, I'm going to give out the disadvantages first. If you let your classmate or your friend do your assignment for you, or you copy your classmate's assignment, you read it out and you just rephrase it yourself, there might be a possibility that your knowledge about the topic could be limited. Or sometimes since you're cramming, you just simply just put out the words that you have to write out so that you can submit it to your teacher, and you end up learning nothing at all. So, in other words, if you do the third and the fourth ways, the call a friend ways, to do your assignment for you, or you try to copy your classmate's assignment, you just have to go early to school so that you have time to do that. There's a big possibility that you might not gonna learn anything at all, absolutely zero knowledge. Otherwise, you still have a chance to make it up to yourself, But if you don't, there might be there could be a high probability that you're gonna fail in the end. If you keep doing this, the third and fourth ways. However, if you use technology yourself, if you're keen enough to really learn, expand your knowledge, do your work as a student. Since you paid your tuition fee, whatever payments you have, God knows, you just do your work. Then use the resources you have. You got libraries, you have technology, and you have your nerdy friends, your smart friends you can talk, share, outsource with, connect with. If you do your assignment yourself, DIY, you're going to pass the test. Your assignment is clearly from your heart, from your mind. You speak your mind through your assignment. Lastly, you're going to learn something about it. And plus, your score is really, really from you. And there's a high probability that you're going to pass the test. Whatever it is, pass the first year. You're going to pass in the end. Because you learned something. You can even justify your own answer because it is from you. Now, I actually shared you the good and the bad ways. Should I say some kind of emergency ways? But it's still going to be, it could be bad for you if you do it consistently. So, look, if you want to get something, from your school year, some kind of knowledge to get yourself better so that you can happily pass in the end, it's way better to do your assignment yourself. But there could be some emergency situation, but know your priorities well. And I just happen to know this because I have a friend whom her son has an assignment to this, having trouble about his priorities. But make sure that you know your priorities as a student. There's always a advantages and disadvantages to our choices. If you choose not to do your assignment, or if you choose your friend to do your assignment, if if you just do your assignment tomorrow by going to the class early so you can brainstorm different assignments from your classmates, but that's all you got. And like, if you do it yourself ahead of time, for sure you're going to learn something. So I hope I shared something valuable today. If you ever love this episode, you can share this to your family and friends. You can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, even an X. Reinforce Me Club. By the way, this is Anne, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.